AUDL presents Ultimate Greatness, a series showcasing the most memorable games, athletes, and storylines in the history of professional Ultimate. Welcome to a world where the majestic floating disc redefines possibility, and even at the pinnacle of competition, spirit and integrity still reign supreme. Previously on Ultimate Greatness, the Madison Radicals have been annual contenders for the AUDL Championship, now with 6 straight trips to the Final Four, but they also remain haunted by their stunning collapse against Seattle in 2016, when the Radicals let a 7-goal second-half lead slip away in a shocking semifinal loss on their home field. 2 years later, Madison's hosting championship weekend again and facing another West Division opponent in the semis, with the Los Angeles Aviators in their first ever Final Four appearance, hoping to end the Radicals' title dreams yet again.
So for the first time, I think in Radicals history, we had developed and honed this killer instinct that we've never really had before. And so coming into this game, we were not going to lose. We were strong, we had one of the more talented lineups we've ever had, and we were going to destroy this team.
LA's first ever trip to championship weekend. Madison has been to the big dance every year. Their franchise has been around since 2013. They've only got 1 win at championship weekend against a team from another division. So Chuck, how optimistic are you that the Radicals are ready to turn that page?
I think they have a really good shot in this game, but I would doubt they're going to win this weekend. I think that it's just 2 tough games. The first game is going to be tough. If they get out of that one, they're rolling right into Dallas, and Dallas looks strong. Now, speaking of looking strong, though, Kevin Pettit-Scantling has clearly been working out. The guy is like at least 15 pounds heavier than last year. I'm excited to see what he brings because he was really bummed the last time they lost the semifinal in this stadium, so you know he's coming with the fire.
Which is saying a lot because he was in great shape last year.
Well,
the last couple of seasons, we've just watched him evolve into this friendly, easygoing guy, into this absolutely monster defender. I think he's still happy and easygoing, but definitely a monster defender.
LA begins the game on offense. The crowd is loud as Tim Beatty, center handler for the last couple of years for the Aviators, resets to Alan Lai. There's Markel Bogan. He's won an AUDL title before, looking deep. The former Spider sending it long to Jesse Cohen, and he's unable to make the catch. There was certainly contact, but no call on Thomas Coolidge.
That's a really nice D from Coolidge. To get up, get first contact on that disc. Cohen read it well. And that's important. If they can stop deep shots from LA, imagine how little they're going to have to look at.
Kevin Pettit-Scantling wants the deep look. He's got Mechanix and Wiegand. And it's Kyle Wiegand, surrounded by white shirts, comes up with a disc. He got hammered on the landing. 50 seconds in. Peter Graffi is into the game, and he'll have the disc looking for his first assist. Kevin Pettit-Scantling, the target in the end zone, but instead it's Graffi scoring the goal from Victor Luo. An opening break for the Radicals. Number 1, averaging fewer than 10 passes per goal. They want to score quickly, and you wonder how they'll handle Madison almost forcing them to be patient.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. This is their kind of weather. I mean, that's the good news. If there was some tough weather, you know, the team from the desert's going to have a hard time. But this sets up real nice for them. It's not too hot. It's kind of a classic LA evening. And if they're hitting their shots,
Kevin Pettit-Scantling, like a superhero, coming for the catch block. One of the reasons he's become so beloved here in Madison, plays like that. Radicals looking for a second straight break. And it's into the hands of Kevin Pettit-Scantling, the satisfying bookends for the Madison Radicals, who lead 2-0.
It was a feeding frenzy. I mean, I think the Madison Radicals is just full of playmakers, and so everyone was just going out and getting it. Everyone wanted to block, everyone wanted to score, everyone wanted the assists, and you could feel that. And LA just couldn't handle it. They were not prepared.
Because against Seattle 2 years ago, they only led by 7, and we all remember what happened there. Cascades close the game on a 13-5 run and absolutely stunned everyone here in Madison. There's Graffy ripping the D away. It has been a storybook start for the Radicals. Coolidge for Graffy, he's not in yet. Pivoting on Shackner, throws across, daring attempt, but Mechanix is there. This LA team has gotten a little bit better every year of their existence. They missed the playoffs their first year. Then in year 2, they made it, but lost their first playoff game. In year 3, they made it. They won a playoff game. They lost in the West Final. This is year 4. They've taken the next step. Can they take 2 steps this year? Are they good enough to fend off the Radicals and their fans? They switch, they sag, they do things to confuse you. Even if they're playing matchup, they basically pick 4 or 5 guys to not really stick to. Looking for Cohen, deep. Can he make a play? No! He's looking for a foul call, but there's none coming. That disc easily ripped away.
To further your point, Evan, that's the kind of defensive play that Madison was hoping would be made. They know that the Aviators like to send it long. They love to keep things enough downfield to have that 2-on-1 matchup, and you saw the result of that play.
Chris Weiland, the interception. Madison has everything clicking right now. So far, the Radicals 3 for 3 on break chances, looking to make it 4 for 4. Meyer to Bruce. I make it Drews to Bruce. Middle of the field, Marty. Pettit Scantling. Well, he tried really hard to land in the end zone. He was 5 yards short, but he picks up the assist. Late in the fourth quarter of the Dallas-New York game, we saw LA just kind of lingering on the sideline, and the last few minutes of that New York-Dallas game took a while with New York trying to pull out all the stops to get back into it. Eli Friedman playing catch with Brandon Severson. This is basically the D-line for LA. Eric Listner still out there. Back to Friedman, to Severson. Jeff Silverman. Looking to Zach Theodore, and he reads it well, and the Aviators mercifully are on the board.
I have to say I was up in the booth for the first game, but this is the loudest I've heard it this entire weekend. More people are filing in. It's only going to get louder as this game goes on.
All right, thanks, Ian. Finally, the Radicals O-line on the field. Tom Annan has been banged up, but playing through the injury. With Ben Nelson, Kevin Brown, Colin Camp, Dave Wiseman, Scott Riggles, and Avery Johnson. Pat Schreiwise would usually be out there, but he played the last D point after Madison began the game with 4 consecutive breaks. Kevin Brown dealt with an ankle injury earlier in the season. He's come back with a vengeance. Dave Wiseman to Scott Riggles. Riggles posting this morning on social media, excited for one final opportunity. The 35-year-old planning on calling it quits after the season. Looking to Nelson, and Kevin Brown found him beautifully. Mazer makes the first cut. He's going deep. Beatty takes the reset to line. Elbogan uncovered. Seth Meyer sold out for the flick fake. Here's Cohen in the middle of the field. And now Mazer unguarded, but Cohen traveled on the throw, so it's coming back.
So the refs calling those travels pretty closely. And it's interesting to see some of these holsters by LA. Like, this is a team on offense that I think does need to hit the deep shot, and you could tell they're a little tentative because they've gotten beasted in the air a couple times.
So the tentativity is almost understandable.
It sure is.
LA was second in the league in goals per game, averaging More than 25 per contest. Lie to Beatty. He's got Elbogen. The flick to the end zone to the open man. Eli Friedman's on Kevin Brown. Andrew Padula's chasing Shrywise. It's Theodore on Riggles. One of the things we've been talking about throughout the week is LA's comparative lack of size, especially defensively as they get Shrywise for the travel. Now Theodore is the biggest guy.
And that's, of course, because in LA, with the acting and entertainment industry, there's a premium on very short people being successful, and as a result, the gene pool has steadily gotten shorter. Whereas in Wisconsin,
A little different.
a little different. Size matters here. A little history lesson for you.
Wonder how LeBron moving to LA will change things. Graffi was fortunate because Shrywise came back to save him, and then Dave Wiseman has the goal. Los Angeles didn't lose a game against a divisional opponent this year until their regular season finale, when they lost what was an important game for San Diego and a meaningless game for them.
KPS shutting down Elbogen in the lane, essentially. Playing him even, giving him these tiny hitters when they're available. I like that matchup for Madison.
Lai squeezes it through to Mazer. When you're a guy like Mazer and you want to throw and go and take charge, Madison does things defensively that just thwart that momentum, that get in your way a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely jam you up. And that's kind of their game. They get slow, make it kind of ugly, a lot of junk,
There's
switches.
another
And it
stop.
works.
And
Yeah.
you know, the contrast we were expecting. LA is second in the league in scoring. No one has allowed fewer goals this year than the Madison Radicals. So far, Radicals are winning the stylistic battle.
Yeah, all the same, I am a little surprised that LA has not found more success over Madison's defense, but I think it has come down to Madison playing a little more man defense. So they're taking away lanes, really forcing LA to look twice. And then, as we've talked about already, Madison has been so sure-handed on their journey down to the end zone once they get those blocks.
Naki's throw was high, but not too high for Andrew Mechanic, who's having himself an opening quarter. How can the Aviators change the flow?
Well, the Aviators play pretty well when they're loose.
Wow. Not changing it with that.
Yeah, jeez.
Listener into the ground. Luo to Drews.
We thought coming into this game that LA wouldn't really feel the pressure. I don't think they are feeling the pressure, but I think maybe they're not feeling enough of the pressure, if you know what I mean. They don't look locked in here. But they are a team that plays loose. You know, they like to hit deep shots. They've got a lot of talent. They see space well. They can be a ton of fun. But yeah, there's a lack of mental focus right now. That can be tough. I mean, we've all played. Sometimes it's tough to hit that switch.
Tim DeBile joked yesterday that the key was getting up by 8. They might be up by 8 by the end of the first quarter.
We were a different machine. We had built this team and this program to just go out and annihilate teams. And so it didn't matter how much we were up. We were going to continue to score goals and continue to get blocks, and we weren't going to be stopped.
You saw Sean McDougall just touch the disc. He's a guy who led the league in plus-minus this year. The guy who has become a superstar. You need McDougall to make a play. George facing the double team. Scoop was high, and Elbogen juggles the catch.
There's not a lot to look at deep. The deep space really isn't opening up that well.
It feels like Madison's playing with 9 defenders on the field.
It does.
Elbogen's hammer looking for McDougall. There was contact, and it's going to be interference.
It's a good call.
Kanaki, guilty.
Yeah, tough throw. I mean, those are interesting situations because that's kind of a bad throw. It hangs up way too long.
McDougal, blade as if he was playing indoors, gets it to Bogan. Madison Radicals have been unbelievable at home. They're 45-4 here all time, today being the 50th game at Bree Stevens Field. This shot going up at the buzzer, and it is caught. Of course it was.
Wow.
Avery Johnson delivers the exclamation point to the opening quarter for Madison. 9-3 Radicals. Bacon centers. Beatty not going to get this to the end zone. Not even close. And that's an easy D for Sterling Kanaki. Radicals on O with Nelson, Shrywise, Riggles, Annan, Johnson, Graffy, and Camp. Kevin Brown not on this particular row point for Madison. So far, this Radicals O-line not doing anything flashy, just calmly converting. It's Theodore on Graffy this point. At least at the start. Throw near the sideline. Avery Johnson saves the day again.
Wow.
And that's a foul. Trywise rips it. Colin Camp the target. Perfectly put. And an easy Radicals conversion. In the first quarter, LA's O-line was centering to Beatty. Now it's Mazer that they're putting in the QB spot.
I like it.
Here's McDougal.
One way or another, they're going to need to get some respect for their deep game, because there's no space underneath right now.
Chuck, I couldn't agree more. I know that they lost the 2 contests deep.
It's a nice hammer from Mazer to Cohen. Tyler Bacon, part of that San Jose Spiders team. Elbogan, Bacon, Silverman on that Spiders team that won it all 4 years ago. And LA gets what feels like their first D of the game. And see Madison getting ready to put some length on the mark. Can you imagine having the disc with Riggles and Wiseman surrounding it?
Yeah, they don't grow them like that out west.
Bacon back to Friedman. Basically Madison zoning downfield. You got the 4 across and then Graffy hanging out deep. It's the type of defense that you don't really see in the West Division either. The way to beat it is to nickel and dime your way. Oh, Riggles got a piece of that, but it still got to Bacon. Silverman to Ransom. Friedman, Silverman. And finally, LA is in. Bacon to Friedman. They're within 5. Mechanix out there on offense, so is Drews and Pruce. Coolidge, Camp, Luo, and Weiland. A year ago in the semifinals, Madison fell to San Francisco in a close game. Flamethrowers went on to beat Toronto by 1 in the final. Colin Camp to Logan Pruce. 11-5. LA back on O with Mazer and Friedman. Alan Lai swings into Tim Beatty. He had Brent George going. Brent George is the guy who's made a ton of big plays for this team. That was a vicious landing by Victor Luo, and Eli Friedman threw it to nobody. Sterling Kanaki gets his second block. And Luo, I mentioned the violent landing. His head kind of snapped. Here's Riggles. He tried to walk away from the Radicals a couple of years ago, but kept getting pulled back. And when they announced that championship weekend would be back here at Madison, Riggles said, yeah, I can do another season.
Not a bad guy to have on the roster either, a 6'6 sprinter who's left-handed. In case he didn't have enough advantages, he's left-handed.
And he's also 6'7", Chuck. Thank you very much.
Oh, geez.
Juggling and dropped by Nelson. Aaron Weaver to Zach Theodore. This is Nate Ransom. Tyler Bacon to Mike Keoy. Shoots it, a laser. Theodore is there. Luo initiates to Mechanix. One thing about this Madison team, Chuck, it seems like Tim DeBile puts his D-line, quote unquote, out there with pretty good confidence on offense. Counts on them to convert. Not here, though.
Tim DeBile's a fool, as we all know. Yeah, the D-line has got a lot of firepower. Look at this shot to the end zone. LA is starting to catch fire. You're starting to see a total change in their demeanor. I think they're officially warmed up. LA can bring the swagger, that's for sure.
You got the LA stereotypes down.
I'm NorCal, man.
I love it.
I'm NorCal. I got no love for SoCal.
Well, NorCal, unlike most years, didn't make it to the Final Four this year. It was SoCal winning the West in the 2018 AUDL.
Another perfect away shot from Shriwise. And that throw is so hard.
Chris Mazer connects with Jesse Cohen to midfield for Brent George. It's almost as if LA has adjusted their game plan. They're not just firing deep early because they've maybe started to realize they don't like those matchups. Or they became tentative based on what happened early in the game.
Right, they're working harder, though. I mean, in the lanes, they're making harder cuts. They're locked in. I'm still just impressed by KPS. I mean, he's basically making Elbogen a non-factor in his offensive points.
Kanaki guarding Cohen. And Cohen just threw it right to the poach. Tunnel vision. Easiest D Chase Marty's ever had. And then Eli Friedman cancels Chris Weiland's upline delivery. Says, I'll take that right back. Friedman, cross field to Mazer. He's got him.
Man, Eli Friedman is a lot of fun.
Goal and 2 assists along with a block for Friedman so far. Radicals led by as many as 7. The lead has been shrunk down to 4. Using every inch of that 6'7" frame plus the wingspan.
Oh, and then that break flick. It's just dirty.
Drywise unmarked for a time. Now Nelson around to Riggles. Takes the easy reset. These two guys who have both been with the Radicals for a long time. Play catch. Low throw kept alive. Tom Annan goes horizontal for the Radicals. Good news for LA is that the progression downfield is getting a little more difficult. Aviators defense starting to figure some things out. Running across the front of the end zone goes Tom Annan. Friedman looks downfield, takes the under. Cohen, who spent the last several years with San Diego, moved north this year to the other SoCal city in the AUDL. Here's Friedman. Will this hammer work out? Yes.
Love it.
Cohen hauls it in for the Aviators.
Yeah, many of their defenses are designed to get the offense pinned against the sideline, can leave a lot of space downfield as they work you towards that sideline. And then once they start to clamp, that's when it opens up on the hammer side.
Stall count was rising. Kevin Brown lays out. Wow. Wiseman the score, but Kevin Brown the hero on Trywise's desperation shot.
That was amazing. Stahl is about to hit 7, and TryWise just gives his receiver a chance. Actually throws it between 2 receivers and says, somebody help me out here. And you can see Keough makes a bid. Credit to Keough for making the bid. I think he knew he was going to be a little short, but he wanted to put as much pressure on Kevin Brown as he could, and Brown comes through.
Gotten it within a respectable margin. 4 and 5 would feel quite different. Crowd trying to get Beatty to send it too early, which he kind of did. He fired with 9 seconds to go. It's an easy D for Graffy. Freeman didn't even realize that there was still time on the clock. KPS the other way. Mechanix tried to pop it up with his hand. That's not going to work. But the home field advantage playing to the Radicals' favor yet again.
Going into the third quarter, I had this flicker of a thought that was like, not like Seattle. And it wasn't really like fear, it was just telling me like, don't make this like Seattle, like a reminder.
Wes Nemec and the Dallas Roughnecks awaiting the winner of the Radicals and the Aviators. And if LA is going to have any chance at all, they're going to have to start the second half much more smoothly than they did the first when they were broken 5 times very quickly. Fell behind 4-0 in the opening sequence. Allen Lai, Tim Beatty, Chuck, with Elbogen, Mazer, George, Cohen, and Friedman.
Yeah, Friedman collided with Coolidge at the beginning of that point. It looked a little awkward. I guess they're both okay, though.
Mazer too far in front of Elbogen. Kanaki in the end zone. He's got it! The crowd erupts, and Madison breaks to begin the third.
I mean, athleticism and ability to read the disc are only part of what makes a good receiver. Ability to read your defender is another one, and that's something Kanaki does so well.
Freeman had nowhere to go. He just boosts it deep, and it's Chase Marty pounding it down. Pettit Scantling behind the play is shaken up for the Radicals. Even injured KPS is fast. LA trying to get back within 5. Mazer, did he land in? He was on the line. He thought he was in. And Mazer with a word for the official.
It feels bigger. I just walked out at halftime down onto the ground, and you know, they've redone this stadium. There's essentially people all the way around the field. There's a VIP section. There's kids.
I'm with you. It feels like 50% bigger.
It's so massive.
There's Jeff Silverman. You knew we weren't going to go the entire 48 minutes without him making a play.
Come the Santa Barbara guys.
Bacon over to Weaver. And he threw it too far for Listener, but another Santa Barbara guy, Keough, saved the day. Looking for Theodore. That'll work. Just like that, it's a 4-goal game. 2 in a row for the Aviators. Adam Drews, not sure who that was intended to. Good to see Kyle Wiegand back out there. And now Luo. Sam Plasman still has not returned after he hurt his arm in the first half.
The D has definitely ramped up for LA. They're pressuring the marks. They're not letting any easy rounds. And just the speed, you can see the difference. You know, these guys are playing at full speed. They're not giving up an inch.
Wiegand squeezes it through for Bruce. Motoring up the line, couldn't connect with Drews. Stall count rising, and that's a stall.
Great pressure from Los Angeles. I mean, I've always been a big believer, defense, you know, blocks, turns, it's all about pressure over time. It's just a matter of how you're going to get the turn. If you apply enough pressure over enough time, you will get the disc.
There was contact as well. LA marching off the yardage. Friedman doubled.
This is starting to look a lot like the semifinal from 2 years ago. They're 4 ahead. LA's coming on. Here comes a deep shot.
Severson and McDougal are going. Oh, goodness gracious! How did he do that? Thomas Coolidge to a different stratosphere.
And that was against McDougal. One of the best plus minuses we've ever seen.
Drews launches deep. Weiland turns on the Jets. Shackner trying to body him out. And McDougal just ran 80 yards the other way to make sure Madison didn't score.
Reset his plus minus to 0.
Near the sidelines. That's out of bounds.
Oh, my.
Definitely a lot of adrenaline fueling some decisions this point.
Timeout called from the Madison sideline. Tim DeBile right side by side with one of the refs. Both teams with opportunities here. First, Thomas Coolidge making the most jaw-dropping play we've seen so far today.
I want to see some replays of that sky. That was crazy.
And then at the other end, Sean McDougal came flying back to keep possession alive. The type of D that allowed him to be top 10 in the league in D's this year, despite largely playing on the O-line. Here's Schreiwise. Over the top. That'll work. Eli Friedman, Bolton deep. Elbogan resets for Beatty.
A junky D here from Madison.
Cruz comes with a double. And even a guy like Mazer, who's faced this Madison defense before, it just is alarming, disorienting when that guy shows up and you're not expecting him.
Yeah, they're really good at setting those double teams opportunistically. Shot to George.
Mazer's laser, perfect. Brett George stumbling in the end zone, but he's got it for all of Los Angeles. Potentially another turning point here. Madison trying to maintain a 5-goal lead with a huck. LA hoping for a D and a score to get within 3, but you're not going to stop Dave Wiseman. He's too big. He's too good.
Saw that coming from a mile away.
Kevin Pettit-Scantling back on the field for Madison D. Tremendous handler defense there from Luo, denying the reset to Beatty. Said it's Cohen who double teamed. Now Beatty. Madison covers those slash cuts good as any team in the league. Communicating, switching when necessary, cutting off angles. Downfield for Friedman.
Great cut underneath from Eli.
And there's Mazer into the open space. He timed the cut well, delayed it, set up his defender, and then burst. It's amazing to me how Shriwise is like back out running around as if he didn't just land in the ground as hard as he did. Wiseman shooting it, looking for Avery Johnson. Severson defensively, and he hit Johnson, who pops right back up, and then he lost the disc on the landing, and they're going to say it's Aviators' possession.
Oh, I don't know.
Madison is like, he got hammered.
He obviously didn't land that way on his own. I mean, it's interesting, though. Did he drop it after he was standing up? I don't know what happened. That seems like a clear foul.
We'll take a look when we get a chance. A couple missed opportunities for both sides.
I mean, if LA doesn't punch this in, how many chances do you need?
Looking for McDougal. He's got height around him. Shriwise and Wriggles. And McDougal had to go up early. And he touched it, but he couldn't hold on. And he couldn't stay in bounds either.
The gods want LA to win this point so bad.
They've had their chances.
Yeah.
Shriwise flips it through Kevin Brown. And he was hit from behind. So he's going to get the disc back with 3 seconds remaining.
This is the most agonizing several seconds of Ultimate I've had the pleasure of watching.
As long as Hussein Carnegie and Will Chen don't show up, I think Madison's going to be all right. Even if they don't score. But that's going to work. Goodness gracious. The scooper to where only Scott Wriggles could haul it in. As time expires, we head to the fourth quarter with a championship berth on the line. Madison leading LA 18-13. Fourth member of our broadcast crew, Ian Toner, in between the two benches in front of the 3,000+ fans. Ian, how have the emotions ebbed and flowed through the second half?
Well, you could really see the energy drain from the Aviators sideline after they weren't able to complete that last point at the end of the third quarter that lasted several minutes. The difference there, that D-line had a lot of depth players out there. No O-handlers able to make the difference and help them convert the break patiently.
And thank you. Madison begins this fourth quarter with possession and a 5-goal lead. Avery Johnson rips it. Colin Camp in pursuit. Jeff Silverman jumped too soon. And it's a Radicals goal for Colin Camp.
They got Mechanix trying to lock down Mazur. I really think Mazur needs a disc.
Evan Pettit-Scantling went up highest. He was hunting that D for the Radicals. Like the disc was his prey. And there's bookends for KPS, the local hero in Madtown.
This player is absolutely insane. You know, he set himself up where he could see the thrower and the dump receiver. He kept his face down to the sideline, so with a glance, he could see both players. That enabled him to see the disc go up, and he clamped down instantaneously.
And in a related story, Pettit-Scantling's back on the line with his team up by 7 after securing the bookends. Also storming that field was one player on the Radicals bench holding a bottle of champagne. I think that champagne has traveled with the Radicals basically everywhere they've went this year, hoping that they'll be able to uncork it after a title win tomorrow. Pettit-Scantling again!
Unbelievable!
And on the second effort, he got it for the second time.
We had a 3-on-1, and I just made a last-ditch jump at it, got a finger, thought it was enough, and as soon as I hit the ground, I saw that it wasn't. And I just wasn't going to let anything that had happened the past 2 years happen again. And so I got up on my hands and knees, and I crawled, and I got another piece of it, and got it just out of reach. And it was just synonymous with the feelings that we've had up until this point. We're just like, we're not going to let this happen again.
What kind of special elixir did KPS drink on the sidelines to feel so much better?
It's a good call by Spyro to keep him in the game. Who knew?
He opened the game with a D. Radicals jumped out to a 4-0 lead. And it was a 4-goal game late, closing seconds in the third quarter. Madison scores the buzzer beater. Go up 5 and then back-to-back goals to start the fourth and trying to close this one out and remove the suspense from the final half of this final quarter. Seth Meyer, the professor. And there's Weiland. Pettit-Scantling unmarked. Surveys his receivers, sets it back to Drews. Through a tight space, but a tough grab made by Weiland. Up the line for Drews. Cross field. That'll work. It's Kanaki in the end zone, and the Radicals have their largest lead of the night. And it doesn't look like Madison's cooling off his defensive intensity at all. There's a travel. LA keeps possession, but will move back 10 yards and lose its flow.
I've never been great at calling travels, but I haven't really seen any of these that have been called, like the ones on J. Fruit in the last game. I just haven't seen any.
Shackner. Bacon timed his cut well, and in the end zone, that'll work for the Aviators, Zach Theodore. If you're the Radicals, do you become even more conservative here offensively?
I think they have to make essentially no adjustments. They play very conservatively. They play a possession game. It's very hard to come back on them, in part because they don't force deep shots. They don't turn the disc.
Madison this year allowed 17.9 goals per game. Los Angeles is going to struggle to get to 18. Madison, as we mentioned, with a win today, would improve to 46-4 on their home field. They've won their last 44 home games against Midwest opponents since Chicago beat them in just the second ever Radicals game at this facility back in May of 2013. It's an unbelievable streak of consistency, and try-wise shooting it for Wriggles, but even Scott's not fast enough to track that one down. So LA with the disc and a chance to get within 6.
And is that a harbinger of things to come? Try-wise overthrows it one time.
Theodore to Petula, incomplete.
Might have lost that one in the lights. I don't know what happened there.
LA has just not been good enough with their throws and catches, especially against the Madison pressure. They factor that in. Back to Try-wise. Annan. And Nelson.
At a certain point, it's we're going to win this game. You know, the score is what it is, the time is what it is, and we have this option of looking ahead to Dallas, or what we end up doing is we just continue to bury LA, because what that's doing is it's conditioning us to be prepared for that game, to come out and attack, and that's how we won that game, and we're going to do that to Dallas.
Wriggles holstered it. Nelson didn't. There's Tom Annan running across the end zone like he's done several times tonight. Cohen, the leap and grab cross midfield. Slings it for Alan Lai. Here's Beatty. Daring shot. Intercepted. Guess who? Sterling Kanaki. He had 5 blocks in the Midwest final against Indianapolis, and he's on his way to replicating that or surpassing it tonight at Bree-Stevens Field.
Yeah, Kanaki is just so good at positioning himself in a place that looks innocuous, like he can't possibly be a bother.
Couple tremendous bids there, but neither KPS or Kanaki could keep the disc alive.
Hashtag max effort.
No question about that. Mazer. Friedman.
That looked clean.
Referees disagreed.
I thought he threw it directly down into the ground in front of him, but I'm way up here. I actually think, I want to say, we tend to criticize the refs, once in a while, but I thought the refs have done a pretty good job on some close, hard to see calls. Like they keep getting them right.
They've had a good night, for sure. That's an easy goal, just along the goal line. I'm going to make a prediction, guys.
Oh, boy.
I think the crowd is going to be rooting for the Radicals to beat the Roughnecks tomorrow.
Oh, so you're presuming that Madison's going to win this game?
It's just a prediction.
That's a really hot take from you, Evan.
Well, there's a turnover. Laser throw off the hands of Graffy. Shackner. Oh, almost threw it into Annan's arms, but instead it's Nate Ransom getting LA back within 6. Well, Madison has a 6-goal cushion and 4 minutes to kill. And certainly, well, there's another great D underneath. LA not done yet. Tyler Bacon bids for the block.
Wow. And like we said, I mean, the sweet spot for LA is that there's no pressure on them.
Bacon looking to the end zone. Theodore just shy of the goal line. Floats it to Keoy. And it's a 5-goal game with 3:33 to go. Blading, pull, rolls into Nelson's hands. He sets it for Schreiwise. They play catch.
You know who you miss in a moment like this if you're Madison is Andrew Brown. Dr. Reset.
Officials timeout. Now Matt Theologity shaken up. Keoy coming back in. 3:16 on the clock. I mean, you can think about a lot of things over the course of a 8-minute game, but LA missed some opportunities. This could easily be a 3-goal game instead of a 5-goal game, and it would feel much more possible for the Aviators. They're still clinging to the faint hopes of a historic comeback.
It's kind of interesting. LA's letting Madison cutters release deep a little bit because they know Madison wants to play possession.
Graffy takes the reset. Schreiwise flips it high precariously, but Brown there. Schreiwise took advantage of Padula bidding. The lane opened up for Colin Kemp. Well, 2 very different games tonight here at Breese Stevens Field. A high-scoring shootout won by Dallas, 32-30. Game that was even most of the way. Dallas pulled ahead late. New York got within 2, but could not overcome the gap. Here in Game 2, a wire-to-wire lead for the Radicals. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead with 4 straight breaks. Much more lower-scoring game to the Radicals' liking, and they lead by 6 with just over 2 minutes to play.
Elbogen holstered the hammer, and pretty much they have no time. Need to throw it. Need to get to the end zone. Low percentage is just as good as high percentage at this point.
Mechanix wanted to travel, they didn't call it. Blade over the top from Elbogen to George. .145 to go. Annan, another situation, he might try crossfield hammer there to Camp, but no need in this spot. That throw snagged by Annan again. The animal has been unleashed tonight for the Radicals. I wonder if Dallas's Danimal will be healthy enough to go. Dan Evans tomorrow.
I hope so. Handler's doing a really good job of just working it amongst themselves.
LA is going to get the disc here, but precious seconds remaining.
I would probably throw it to the end zone.
The Aviators are going to stew over this game for a long time. They're going to wish they could have had the first quarter back when they were outscored 9-3. They've won the game ever since.
Yeah, it's funny, that slow start. They really weren't ready to go.
Bacon drops the hammer. Tough grab, digging it out, made by Zach Theodore. Sunday, August 12th, 1 Eastern, noon Central, Breeze Stevens Field, AUDL Championship game number 7. The Madison Radicals and the Dallas Roughnecks.
And that's my only point about tomorrow, is that Madison is going to have to tighten up just a little bit. They're not going to be able to give Dallas as many opportunities as they gave LA tonight.
Final throw incomplete, and the Madison Radicals are headed to the championship.
We can do anything. You know, winning that game showed that not just the fans, not just the critics, that we couldn't beat a team outside of our division, that it proved to us that we could. And while we had this feeling that we could, and we knew we could, and the belief that we could, we did it. We went out there and did it, and there was nothing that was going to stop us from beating Dallas.